Okay, it's Thursday, just at the beginning of July, and I'm in my garden, as much of it as there is, contemplating life. Around me now, I'm surrounded by noises. The farmer has a new ventilation system, and that's going to be continuous throughout the rest of my life here, I think. So I just better get used to it. But the insects and the birds, they have their own ethos, ether, sounds, and the blue tits over there have hatched and successfully come out. The flycatcher's just here. I normally don't approve of music with nature videos, but I just happened to be listening to a jazzed up version of the Minute Waltz, and I thought this just happened to fit rather well. I hope you don't mind. I think there were also wagtails over there, and I am content. It's a funny word. We've had so much stolen from us by the media that many of us forget what it's like to be human. Something marvelous, something fantastic. No, just something ordinary, something we have inside us. All of us have it inside us. But it takes a lot to recognize what it is and what it means. Watching the little creatures around in my little patch of land, and I see so many of the things, feelings in humans, emotions, just echoed in the birds. Curious, interested, aggressive. Their life revolves around food. So what difference is there between them and us? I guess the idea of following a rational thought for a considerable period of time. But it's taken all of us more and more effort. Perhaps I'm just speaking for myself, but what I see is a slow and gradual decline into nothing. This is just as parts of society would have it, because they want a good part of society to feed the rest, the rich and the privileged. But the rich and the privileged are in the same boat with us. They are being subject to exactly the same forces. So what can we do? I do little things here and there. I try to show to others how it's possible to be different without being alternative. Ordinary is nothing. Is ordinary really nothing? perhaps it is. And those of us who do things are not ordinary. Now that's an interesting concept. It also implies that, it also implies the other way around, that being ordinary is thinking for yourself and finding your own way, and being different is just going with the flow and letting it all wash over you and take over. So, here I am. I'm in my little bit of parkland. Bumblebees, 2 or 3 different species of flies on the table here beside me. I'm drinking mate tea from, not from South America this time. I think from Middle Europe. Anyway, it's rather nice, but I don't think the average person would like it. It's got quite a powerful taste and can be quite bitter. Tannins. In fact, when you read up about the trees that mate tea comes from, it's the holly. The berries have little spines on the edges, and the tree produces red berries, and a good deal of it is poisonous. So how do they manage to make mate tea which doesn't kill you? Well, I was with a religious group. That is, I went and visited them once a week for 5 years at least. We became good friends. But they realized that I wasn't really with them. I just enjoyed their company. And they had connections in the Western world with little groups all over the place, and one of them was in South America. And they cultivated and dealt with mate tea. And apparently it is the holly family, and you take the leaves and you have to burn them in a special way, which doesn't actually burn the leaves themselves, but destroys the wax which is on the outside, because otherwise the water wouldn't interact with the contents inside. They used to have it shipped in great big Hessian bags. I suppose they still do. Anyway, this I get from a friend in Malta who has a shop, and he's very happy with supplying me. But before that I tried to buy some from South America, from Argentina in fact, on eBay. Very fetching looking advertisement, and they wanted 70 krona, which was just on the edge of being right. So I sent 70 krona via eBay, and a few weeks later I got a package through the post. It was quite nice and I enjoyed the tea, but then at the same time I got a bill for 120 krona. Now I wasn't sure what this was, but I did know there could be an import tax. Then a few weeks later I got a bill for 250 krona. So I paid once for the tea, 1.5 times for something, and then three times, 4 times for so-called tax. Turned out that tax is 20%, something like that. But 20% of 70 krona is not 250 krona. So I contacted the company. That was American Express, I think. No, UPS. I contacted them and said, I'm not going to pay. And they said, well, we'll take you to court. And interestingly enough, the first contact I had wasn't with the company itself. It was with a company dealing with debt, dealing with people who didn't pay. So, in other words, they were quite used to this. So I said, I'm quite happy to take this to court because your demands are quite outrageous. Then it was passed over to a lady in Sweden who said, we'll see you in court. And then I got a message from the first guy in Norway who ran the inkasso, that is the debt company, saying, we've decided to drop it. I think because, yeah, I'll start again. Some people have a need of enforcing their way, which is so destructive that yes, I think they realise it. I think pretty much everybody realise everything in a way which affects them, because we all have this fantastic subconscious whirring away. If the case had got to court and it gained some publicity, the firm would have lost an awful lot more money by other people seeing the same thing, and it is a big national company. Big international company, and when I checked, I heard the same story echoed by people all over Norway. A lady in Molde told me her boyfriend had bought her some jewellery which cost about 5,000 krona, which is quite a bit. And she got a bill for 3,000 krona for import duty. And I said, I hope you fought that. And she said, no, we just paid. So that is going back to my theme of losing the way and losing direction, which is happening more and more. Perhaps this is a particularly Norwegian thing, but I can remember seeing it in the UK too. People just not being bothered. So you have direct scams on one side, people you tricking into sending them money and so on, and that's illegal because it's people doing it. And then you have a big company doing the same. And it's not illegal. It's not illegal because people don't bother. Yes, I like that. It's not illegal because people don't bother. The mate gets better when it cools down a bit.